Yan Nguyen, Kian Tran, Tao Lai, Tao Nguyen, Qi Nguyen, and Hua Nguyen from the VNU University of Languages and International Studies in Vietnam. One moment. Yes, Thao Bui currently works as a test developer and researcher at the Center for Language Testing and Assessment at the University of Languages and International Studies, Vietnam International University. She received her master's degree in English education from Korea University, Seoul. Her research interests include language testing and assessment, reading comprehension, and learner differences. So, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for your introduction. Okay. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Vietnam. I am Sao, and my team is from the University of Languages and International Studies, which belongs to Vietnam National University. And our university is one of a few institutions in the country that own a national gifted high school in the structure. And in our case, the high school is the Foreign Language Specialized School, and we often call it FLSS for short in English. As I have said before, the FLSS is under our university, the ULIS VNU. It is the sole national gifted high school which wholly specializes in foreign languages in Vietnam. And FLSS is recognized for its strong academic programs and also the competitive admissions. It is one of the most selective high schools in Vietnam, with the acceptance rate around 6 to 10% out of thousands of applicants every year. And to select its students, the school employs an entrance exam. Revised in 2017, this exam includes 3 tests, that is math and natural science, literature and social science, and language. The revision made the test become a pioneering model for competence-based teaching and testing at secondary school level in Vietnam. In this exam, the language test score would be doubled before being counted in the total score, making it 50% of the overall exam score. And English is the most popular major in this school, so the English entrance test is often taken by most of the applicants. And we have to say that the high-stake nature of the test for language-gifted students and the application of new approach in the test development have made its validity or quality of great concern from both the public, the experts in the field, and the test development team. And this is also the rationale behind this study. And within the scope of this conference, we would focus on the FLSS English entrance test. And like the other 2 tests, the English tests were developed with competence-based approach, tapping either into directly or indirectly the knowledge and skills of vocab, grammar, reading comprehension, communication, and writing skills. And the test has total 81 items with 80 MCQ items, and the last was a composition item. And the MCQ accounted for 80%, and the composition accounted for 20% of the total English score. And according to methods, there are 6 aspects of validity, that is content, substantive, structural, generalizability, external, and consequential. And among these aspects of validity, this study would approach the external one with predictive validity as the focus. So in general, this study was an attempt to investigate the FLSS English entrance test power in predicting students' English performance at FLSS in the National High School Graduation Exam and in the IELTS exam. So accordingly, we have two research questions as follows. The first one, how well did the FLSS English entrance test score predict students' English language performance at school in National English Graduation Test and in IELTS exam? And the second one, to what extent the predictive power of the MCQ and composition sections were different in predicting students' English language performance? So to answer these above questions, we have collected the test scores of the class of 2020. They have just graduated this year and enter the school in 2017. These are the students who took the FLSS entrance test with English as the language test in 2017, and they passed the test. They were admitted to FLSS, and they had English class during 3 years at school, and they have to take the IELTS exam before leaving school. More particularly, we collected 255 student score. That is almost all of the students learning English in class at this school for the class of 2020. We collected their English entrance score in 2017, their English GPA at school, and their English score in the National High School Graduation Exam. And among these 255 students, 208 took IELTS before leaving school, and we also collected these scores. And in terms of data analysis, we made use of descriptive statistics, bivariate correlation, and regression analysis. And for more detail, we'll move to the result section. So this is the descriptive statistic for 255 FLSS students. You can see that the score were distributed normally for most of the variable. That is the English entrance score with MCQ and composition part separate, and English GPA and the IELTS score. Yes, of course, for IELTS we only have 208 students. However, you can notice that for English graduation score, the distribution was negatively skewed and highly peaked. This is because the test was designated for high school graduation across the country, which made it very easy for the gifted student as test taker. Actually, there are 222 students out of 255 students got 10 out of 10 in this exam, in this test. And regarding the English entrance test, we present here the statistic for the whole sample of 3,048 test takers who took the English entrance test in 2017. The mean, you can see the mean difficulty of the test was at 5.5 out of 10, and we have the statistic for the MCQ part, which accounted for 80% of the total English score, and it has a satisfactory discrimination with a point by serial around 0.3, and high, very high in reliability at 0.9 for cronbach alpha. And to find out the predictive power of the English entrance test score, we conducted a correlation analysis, and the results are summarized in this table. It can be seen that the English entrance score significantly correlated with English GPA, English graduation score, and IELTS score. And the correlation magnitude were quite small for English GPA and graduation score, both was less than 0.3, and highest for the correlation with IELTS, which is at 0.45 for the R value. And you can see that the IELTS score was better correlated with English entrant at 0.45 than English GPA or English graduation score. And it is noticeable that the correlation between the IELTS and English graduation score could not be computed because all 208 students got 10 out of 10 for English graduation score, making it like a constant variable. Next, to understand the predictive power of component score of the MCQ and composition parts, we use both correlation and regression analysis. And first, it is shown here the correlation analysis. The result shows that both MCQ and correlation, both MCQ and composition significantly correlated with the English GPA, English graduation score, and IELTS score. And the composition was a little stronger in correlation with English GPA, and the MCQ was stronger in correlation with English result in graduation exam and the IELTS score. Secondly, we also run the regression analysis, and the results illustrate that both MCQ and composition contributed significant unique variance to English GPA and English graduation score. And together they explain a significant 13.3% of the variance in English GPA and 6.3% of the variance in English graduation score. For English GPA, the composition was the stronger predictor. I list the beta here for both MCQ and composition. And for English graduation score, the MCQ was with the stronger predictor. For IELTS, both MCQ and composition contributed a significant unique variance to IELTS scores, and together they explain up to 25.7% of the variance in IELTS score. And you can see that this contribution is much higher than in the English GPA and English graduation. So when comparing the relative power, the MCQ was the stronger predictor. So that's basically our results. And go back to our research question. For the first one on the predictive power of English entrance test, our finding is that the English entrance score was a significant predictor of students' achievement and proficiency in English language. For the second research question regarding the comparison of MCQ and composition predictive power, the result is that in predicting English achievement or English proficiency, both were significant predictor, but their relative power was different for test score, either in the English graduation test or in the IELTS, the MCQ was the stronger predictor. And for English GPA, composition was the stronger. We think probably this is because classroom performance and progress involve much more than selecting option as in the MCQ test. Besides, the result also left us with some consideration, some thoughts. First, for contribution to English GPA, although significantly correlated with and predicted by the English entrance test, the correlations and contribution was small in magnitude. Both was less than 0.3 for correlation. And this can be, we think that this can be explained by the difference in nature of the entrance test and the classroom performance. The former was a highly competitive test to discriminate and select students with the acceptance rate around 6 to 10% out of thousands of applicants, while the latter had more to do with formative and summative assessment in class, and all students were expected to pass the standards. Secondly, for English graduation test score, similar to English GPA, the English graduation test was an achievement test on the national scale, and although it was significantly predicted by the English entrance score and English GPA, the correlation magnitude was small, and moreover, we can see that the correlation with IELTS could not be computed due to the fact that all the 208 students score in the graduation exam were all 10 out of 10. In the meantime, we have the correlation between IELTS and the entrance test at 0.45. So it seems that the English graduation test did not reflect quite well the gifted student ability on their admissions and their progress and achievement in English during 3 years at school. And it did not show relation with students' English proficiency as indicated in the IELTS test. And obviously, it was not powerful in discriminating students gifted in English because all 208 students got 10, the maximum score. However, this graduation test is being used for university entrance purposes, including entrance to language university, which is the targets of many students who are very good in English. So we think it is likely that it would not be very useful in discriminating and selecting these students. And therefore, there is a need for another test specially tailored for selecting good students to language university. And as seen in the result, the IELTS score was best correlated with the FLSS entrance test, which was also developed with competence-based approach. And this approach should be considered in developing the new instrument so that the new test can become a good indicator of students' English ability. So in conclusion, the result so that the score of the FLSS English entrance test significantly predicted the students' English proficiency and English achievement at school and in exams, especially in language proficiency exam. So we can see that this is a positive evidence for the FLSS English entrance test predictive validity in particular and the test quality in general. This is also a positive evidence for the appropriateness of competence-based approach in designing tests, which should be considered to be applied more widely. And the research can also be considered a satisfactory answer to public's concern about the FLSS English entrance test in particular, and the application of competence-based approach in language testing in general. And finally, this research result have for meaningful information for the revision of either the entrance test, our entrance test, or the development, if any, of a new instrument for the purpose of selecting students to language major in a university. So basically, that's all of our presentation. Please share your thoughts or any question. Thank you.
Sorry, I was muted there. Thank you very much. I see we have a question by Jamie Dunley. The results for research question 2 are really interesting. What do you think that might mean for test design and revision in the future?
We think that we may, right now, the test is developed based on the the language components indicated in Bachman's framework with knowledge in vocab and grammar, and skill in both sentential and textual skill in writing and reading comprehension. And in the future, we think we still based on this framework to develop the test or revise the test. As for the new instrument for university entrance purpose, we think that competence-based approach should also be applied. And because right now the graduation test is only MCQ, no room for composition or any productive skills. So we think the test developer may think of including more skill and more competences in the test.
Thank you very much. We also have a question from Ferit Kilikaya. Could you provide some sample questions included in FLSS English section?
I think I can only give some description, not the actual question because of the test security. We have 80 MCQ items, and we have 5 for phonetic knowledge, 5 for STREP, 5 item on word STREP, and then several items on synonym and antonyms, a gap fill with grammar and vocab knowledge, and we have the close and the reading test, the reading passages, all in MCQ format. And we have sentence rewrite and sentence combining items. And for conversation skill and pragmatic skill, we also develop some item which of course can only indirectly test the skill in. We have, for example, a gap fill task that a student have to fill in the gap to complete a conversation between between 2 or 3 people in a daily conversation, or they have to reorder to make a meaningful conversation. And we also have the last one, as I presented, we have a composition item that is students are required to write a composition. They can write in paragraph or in essay format. Either is good, is acceptable. And we want to test their writing skill, how they argue for their opinion.
Thank you, that was very clear. Are there any more questions? Okay, I don't see any more questions here. So thank you very much. That was really interesting.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jen, and all the audience for your listening.
All right, we have a bit of a break. We will be back with the next presentation. Actually, no, that will be in the same room at 4 o'clock. Yeah, at 4 o'clock, next presentation.